Grab your beverages and turn up your interweb. Solving the world's problems 12 ounces at a time. It's Dudes and Beer.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 101 of Dudes and Beer. I am Chris Jordan, your host. With me here in the studio tonight is, of course, the stalwart Stephen Bishop, as well as Julie Connolly over here on the board. We also have as our guest this evening the fantastic Austin musician Doug Strahan. We'll be talking with him here in a little while about some of his acts. The man is all over the place, literally. He has like 3 different bands that he is actively promoting, playing in, touring with, doing all kinds of stuff, recording, releasing albums. We're going to be talking about the life of a musician, the life of a musician on the road, what it takes to do that, the wherewithal that it takes to do that, as well as how it is that you go about enacting that and even making that dream happen, because it's not easy being cheesy, and that's the only way you can put it.
A lot of hard work and sacrifice, I'll tell you that much.
There is, Steve, and we're going to talk about that and so much more when we get back from this message from our sponsor.
Have you ever... thought about brewing your own beer? Is the urge to brew there, but you just don't know how to get started? Well, Dudes and Beer is here to help. Stop on by the new Dudes and Beer Amazon store and check out all the great brewing supplies and gear today. We have it all, from instructional books and do-it-yourself kits for beginners to 16-gallon cooking vessels, carboys, bottling supplies, and cleaners for all you homebrew pros out there. Everything you need to brew your favorite beverages, even distilling equipment. So stop on by the official Dudes and Beer store today and get your hand on the greatest new brewing essentials. Simply visit dudesandbeer.com and click the Dudes and Beer store tab. Once again, that website is dudesandbeer.com and click the Dudes and Beer store tab today. Happy brewing, everybody. And until next time, drink responsibly.
That's right, everybody. Please make sure to drink responsibly. Please make sure to drive responsibly when you drink, for crying out loud. Right? If you're out seeing great acts like Doug Strahan out on 6th Street, out on some of the venues,
do the responsible thing.
Use FAIR.
That's right.
Use FAIR. Use code DUDES10, and you will start saving money and accruing points towards your free rides with FAIR. You can also share your code with your friends and earn even more points.
And what did you say that code was, Chris?
DUDES10. So
awesome.
On that note, talking about Doug Strahan, let's get into it a little bit.
Sure.
How long have you been in the Austin scene? How long have you been? Because I mean, like we said in the intro, you're a member of like 4 different acts right now.
Yeah, or, you know,
4 different incarnations of your music.
There's probably more than that.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll list them all.
Let's talk a little bit about your history, where you're from, and how you got into it, and why you started making music to begin with, Doug.
Sure. I grew up in Carrollton, Illinois, which is an hour due north of St. Louis, little farm town. And my dad played guitar when I was a kid, and he was, you know, I totally was, you know, crazy about his picking, and would always put the headphones on and like, hey, play this, you know, and he'd play it, you know, and so anyways, before I even got started on guitar, like at a young age, I was ready, you know. And
nice.
by the time I was 12, I was starting to get in a little trouble, and I think he saw that and like, he's like, yeah, it's time to get you on some lessons, man, you know.
Give you something to do for at least an hour a day after school.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Positive, constructive
it really
stuff.
worked. Yeah. He bought a guitar that, you know, I wanted to get like a Flying V or an Explorer or something,
nice.
But he played in a country band, so he wanted me to get something that he could also gig on at night. I think this is the way he rationalized to my mom that he was going to buy a guitar. You know?
Absolutely.
It's like when a husband buys the bowling ball for the wife.
Puts his wife's name on it.
That's right. Yeah, and so anyways, first step out of Carrollton was to get into college. You know, so had some, you know, a few bands that we were in up in Charleston, Illinois. Eastern Illinois University's there, and started working at a really cool radio station. And
nice.
Me and a couple of the DJs took a trip down to Austin, and it was it was great. You know,
Really?
Yeah.
What year was that?
That would have been 97.
Oh, okay, yeah,
All right.
yeah. Back when it was still good and live and kicking,
Yeah. No.
6th Street had a lot more live stuff going on.
There was
down
still
there.
stuff happening.
Yeah.
We had to ditch 6th Street to find. We wanted to find Dale Watson. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And,
You weren't
Yeah.
going to find him on 6th Street.
Now we found the Egos, and it was cool, man.
Yeah, I know
That
where
was,
he goes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of set. That was back when Egos was cool.
Yeah.
Kim was running it, and
Yeah.
it was a really it was a killer music scene happening there. But anyways, I was like, I wanted to go somewhere where I could, hone in on playing like old country style music, and it was warm,
Yeah.
and like frankly, like out of my Midwestern element, I wanted to be somewhere
Now
else.
you were just saying though, like that you really wanted more of a flying V guitar, though, right?
At an early age,
yeah, at an early
yeah.
age. So you were kind of more into kind of maybe rock and roll, right? Yeah.
And metal, and
What were some of your early influences that made you actively want to play? I mean, I'm always curious.
Yeah. Outside of my old man, I would say Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. Definitely, and like every kid, like Led Zeppelin, and I got into Metallica. And learning how to play Master of Puppets by tablature was very satisfying.
That's intense. Yeah.
Hell yeah, I'm right there with you.
I'm with you.
And I've been all over the map over the years as far as music, just kind of go down rabbit holes.
But it's those roots, kind of.
Yeah, man. And honestly, like, I think that outside of, I can't find anything valid about dubstep, but maybe someone can hit me to it.
Well, I mean, as an electronic musician myself, I can see the value of
Can you?
dubstep.
Okay.
There's
for working out too.
Oh yeah.
But otherwise, I listen to all kinds of music.
I think everybody's kind of missed out on dubstep because really we don't really understand what it is. It's actually aliens sending messages.
It is a very subculture thing in the EDM movement, the electronic dance music thing. There's a whole trend that happens in that scene where it started with glitch and went through all kinds of evolutions, before it became dubstep, and that's a whole separate thing, and it's kind of interesting that you even bring that up because even saying that you're from Illinois, I understand a lot more of your influences now, and a lot more of what I've heard. Even listening to albums like Cold Black Dreams, Late Night Schemes, stuff like that. Are you a finger player?
A little bit of both.
Okay,
Nice.
Because there were a few songs whenever we were listening earlier, I was like, this is straight up Mark Knopfler status.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
It reminded me of some Dire Straits or something.
Even the progressions and stuff like that were very much along those lines. But I could definitely hear your blues influence.
Oh yeah.
And I mean like blues root influence, not like because there's a very distinct Texas sound to Texas blues. Mississippi blues has a distinct sound, but Illinois blues, Chicago blues has a definite sound.
But he's from
to
Illinois,
it.
Chris.
And that's Chicago.
Well, yeah, and I mean,
Oh my gosh.
I didn't grow up on Chicago blues.
Yeah,
at all,
but
I've gotten into it. While living down here, and Texas. I mean, there's actually it's hard to define its blues. Like, I mean, you have a lot of Gatemouth Brown, and then you have Freddie King, and then you have Blind Lemon Jefferson.
I love me some Freddie King.
Yeah.
Lightning Hopkins. I mean, there's
like
a wide array right there.
Yeah, in and of itself, it's a
Bob
huge
Wills and this kind of blues.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Your music also lends itself to Texas swing.
Oh yeah,
Sure
cool.
does. Yeah.
On a very large note.
Yeah,
I think. I
dig the old school swing.
Yeah, you've married, and I think a lot of the things that I've read on the internet, stuff like that, where there's some Merle Haggard throwback and things like that. I think they're very apt descriptions of a lot of not necessarily your influence, but the direction that you take your music.
Yeah.
Where do you draw that from, and where do you start writing from whenever you do start writing music? Because and we're going to get into some of his songs here in a little while, y'all. Feel free to chat with us online if you've got the app, or if you're online with us live on Spreaker. Feel free to ask any questions that you want. But my question to you to start off with is, where do you draw from when you start writing a song? Because your songs and your styles are varied.
Right.
And even on an album, like Coal Black Dreams, Late Night Schemes, the stylization of it as it goes through. Number one, I love the simplicity with which it's recorded and the true honesty with which it's recorded.
Right.
There's not a lot of whiz bang, not a lot of crazy production.
Right.
It is stripped down, pure, and
a lot of that too. Ethan Shaw, my hombre in Chili Cold Blood.
Nice.
Been playing with for 17 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, tell us a little bit about that.
We started playing together. I met him shortly after moving here. I was playing with Terry Joyce, and she had hired Ethan to play bass, and we hit it off, man. I mean, we're same age in this scene where everyone was kind of like kind of a wide range age wise alone, and then also like finding out that we were in a lot of same music. Outside of classic country, we were both into Sabbath and Metallica and stuff like that.
Yeah,
people be surprised that
Yeah, you never know what the guy's into that's on stage.
Just because he's playing some or other.
Yeah, and we're not unique in that manner by any means, especially in Austin. But anyways, we started playing together. Like he set up a wedding band called the LaSalle's, and we kind of got in the way of it making any money and started writing for it, and then that eventually evolved into Chili Cold Blood. And then out of Chili, we decided we needed a country outlet because we weren't able to take as many gigs. We got busy.
Yeah,
so we started the Moonhangers.
Okay.
Yay.
Yeah, and then those two.
I found you. I found
Julie
you
is
with
a
the
huge
Moonhangers.
I think you got a fan here. I think I hear her.
Yeah,
I bet Lambert's.
Nice.
So I mean, we've been running for a long time. I mean, between those two bands, outside of the solo stuff, we got this Chili Cold Blood record coming out as our 8th Chili record, and we got three.
Wow,
That's
dude,
awesome.
that's
Yeah.
awesome, bro.
Yeah,
Shoot.
and then
That's-
3 Moonhangers, and
That's prolific. And how? And you said 17 years?
I moved in '99. So
Okay.
yeah,
That's
Wow.
when you came to Austin, 99?
yeah.
Wow, that's great. Like that's on the order of an album every other year.
Just about, yeah.
That's pretty incredible. And
Yeah. Trying to stay on that pace.
and that's just
sure.
with the one band,
Right.
Just with the one incarnation of your music. Like, explain to us the different facets
Of the bands?
that are Doug Strahan, because these bands obviously
Like
are
the
different outlets for you.
like
They're
different faces or-
This
This band's for this band's for that kind of deal.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, honestly, like one of the things that always just kind of frustrated me as a writer and a musician is that I hadn't had like this stubborn identity of this is me, screw y'all, I'm gonna do this,
Yeah.
But as a result, I wind up going in all these different, like I said, like rabbit hole tangents.
Sure.
And I love too much music to want to to focus on
hold
one
you
thing.
back on one thing.
Yeah. And so like Memphis Strange is more like a Stonesy Southern rockish thing, and I love that stuff, man. That's a whole other ball game, and it's a little more heavy on the lyrical side. Like Johnny Dango, one of the singers, is he's a very crafted wordsmith,
Okay.
And then Chili Cold Blood is just straight from the crotch, like rock and roll,
Rock on.
Yeah,
Kind of has that rock and roll kind of oof to it,
and then country is pretty much self-explanatory, and then the Good Names just kind of became like this fun, just a way to explore all this different music I dig. Like I didn't want to have my own band be like a hardcore country, even though I dig the tonk, but being from Illinois, I'm like. I had to explain all the time I'm not from Texas, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to put on like I'm from here,
Sure.
Don't matter.
Yeah, I know.
You're here now.
Well, true that, It's my Catholic roots talking there. But anyways, I wanted to be more like a band that, from the 60s and 70s that played all kinds of different styles, I mean, you could go into country and then you could slip out of it and play a rocker.
Right.
Well,
and that's what we do.
And to quote you specifically, you say, to put it simply, we're an American band, or if you're into the whole subgenre thing, then call it American old school. It's funky, but it isn't funk. There's country, soul, and blues in there, but it isn't any of these. It's American, but it's not Americana.
Right.
Like my favorite bands from the 60s and 70s were steeped in old school American music, but we've evolved into something all its own. And I think that is a very apt description of the oeuvre that I've heard over the last week, kind of Google stalking you. And, reading reviews and all kinds of... Yeah, no, I Google stalk people, bro. I'm kind of creepy with what I do.
Can I use that to send a 9 Mile record?
Right?
He knows more about you than you know about yourself.
You're hired.
Bam. But... I like knowing about my guests. I like doing as much research as possible and trying to find out like where they started, where they came from. And you're quite honestly, other than that, kind of an anomaly.
Yeah.
Because there's not a whole lot. As long as you've been involved in the Austin music scene, as long as you've been doing stuff, it's interesting that you've kind of hidden your identity. And you've kind of kept a lot of this kind of a hidden gem and a hidden secret, and it's amazing to find it, and it's amazing to find that diamond in the rough and be like, this is some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
I wish more people knew about this.
Yeah, right, me too.
And, to hear the fact that, and tell us a little bit about because it's not that you aren't out there. It's not that you aren't doing things.
Yeah.
It's the fact that your genres are so varied,
right.
and that what you're doing is so different than everybody else that it's interesting to find it, number one, and interesting to find it all in one person.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who's worked in music and was an engineer for years live, to find someone that can cover so many different genres and do so many different things, and write in so many different styles is pretty impressive.
Hell yeah, it is.
Much less to know that you are this prolific. The fact that, most people are in a band for 3-4 years and maybe they put out an album.
Right.
Whereas you consistently seem to churn out music and music and music and music and music with all of these incarnations.
Oh, yeah.
And, even tell us a little bit about the tour that you just got off of, because you just came back from a week or so on the road in New Mexico, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, we basically, two of the bands, Estrange and the Good Neighbors, have been pretty much touring since January and rotating. And this last one was Johnny Dango from Estrange and me. We did an acoustic run through New Mexico, and it's a short run. We started off in Marfa, and then
cool, and then that was a Wednesday, and then ended on Easter Sunday at Madrid, which is a great place to.
Nice.
Yeah. And they,
awesome.
They actually pronounce it Madrid, not Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's a cool little kind of hippie mountain valley town out there that's been, had its own freak flag for a long time. They've always had this 4th of July parade out there that goes back to at least the early 1900s, and you can see photos of how eccentric and far out some of the locals were back then. You know what I mean? So it's a really cool spot, and but New Mexico is perfect for doing acoustic runs because they're already kind of into the more folksy side of things, and
nice,
we played. It was fun. Played for all kinds of different people and camped in between and drank some beers.
And we were saying just before we went on air, it's a great way to actually intro your music to a wider audience. It's a great way to say, hey, if you like this, you should hear the incarnation of this piece.
You hit them and run like Billy
with
the
a whole
Kid.
band.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Hit them and run.
I don't know if it. I like to think that that's the way it works, but I'm not sure that it does.
Not always. Not always.
Because for one, a lot of the funkier, more R&B, background of some of these bands. It's really hard to, unless you're Bill Withers or something, it's hard to bring across on an acoustic.
Yeah.
Without a good beat going and everything.
Yep.
But I mean, I think you just play to the gig, you play to the song,
Yeah.
And if they see that you're I mean, hopefully you do your job, you show up, and you play a good show.
Yeah.
And that will like lead them to be interested in seeing the full band, you know.
Well, and I'm interested to see, out of the tracks that you provided us tonight, which one you choose to play first. Because I want to see where you want to intro our audience to your oeuvre.
Oh, boy.
Because you've provided us with 3 tracks for the evening, and they're varied in style.
Well,
Is my favorite on there?
So
I actually, you know, I was bringing them to push the Chili Cold Blood and the Memphis Strange.
Nice.
record, you know?
and we've the Memphis Strange I was not able to download because it wasn't on Google Drive or anything
gotcha.
like that. So I've actually got it up here live on the internet. It's
okay.
ready to go. So
Cool.
whichever one you want to start with, we're ready to go with, my friend.
Yeah. Well, shoot, man. Let's play the Dewdrop In. This one was written for the latest Chili Cold Blood record. We did this session out in at Ethan's cabin. It was all live. Me and him and Ethan Shaw and Matt Purrier, and we basically, you know, we had a rundown of the song, and then we worked up the song, and then we played it again, then we recorded, you know.
Okay.
And it'd usually be like the first or second track after that.
No,
So y'all didn't practice it very much.
And we'll talk a little bit about
I like
that
that. I like
afterward
that.
because I'm all about that. And right now we're going to listen to Dewdrop In by Chili Cold Blood off the album
Cabin Session.
All right, Cabin Session. Here we go. Come here, mouse.
Here, Mousy.
Can't see bucket lines of dirt and stone. Blood still sticky from the night before. City like to move, sometimes she needs a little more. That smile feels troubled and it'll meet me at the door. With the shadows bubbling right up to the ceiling. On and on as you drop in. Say sweet talking to me, going Jimmy had no problem with his bones. He spent some time here. He had a tattoo teardrop that cried for no man. Said he sure like kicking up the sand. With the shadows bubbling right up to the ceiling. On and on as you drop in.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry.
teaser, man.
I totally accidentally hit the pause button on that.
It's all good. It's all good.
We're just gonna like
so
fade
sorry.
out and like, you know.
Yeah, no, typically I would gently fade that out and come back in. I went to move the mouse and actually hit just plain stop. So, yeah, I hate to do that on Dewdrop In because that is a sick track.
Dude, that was sick.
And we were kind of noting back and forth. Ethan was the slide guitar on that.
Yeah, playing steel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
He used to play slide, now he's like...
I love the fact that the one thing that I have enjoyed more than anything over the last week, actually finding your music and looking you up and everything, is the utter raw nature of the recordings. And it seems to me like you're very much into the same thing that I am, where it's like the synergy of musicians playing together at the same time, as opposed to take after take in a studio and being able to do things in the most precise way.
Right.
There's something that, and I was telling Steve this beforehand. Whenever I booked bands, this is what I looked for.
Right.
I looked for people that had live recordings. I looked for people like I could tell when somebody had like a polished studio demo.
Well, it's like either you got it or you don't, kind of in a way, you know. I mean, the kind of a little bit the way I look at it. I mean, you can do it a million times to get that one out of a million. Oh, it sounds great, and everybody knows you for that one. But how many tries did it take to get that one?
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know.
She's in the first 3.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Seriously.
Exactly.
Like you were telling me, yeah.
Solos, the rhythm tracks, all that stuff.
I'd like you to explain that theory a little bit, and then I'll talk about my theory of recording in the same right. So.
Yeah, I mean, personally, like we've set up in so many different spaces recording wise. I mean, we've done where we had a proper studio and then jet setting, and that's with like me and Ethan and Matt. And
that doesn't matter to you where you set up.
Not so much anymore, man. I used to be felt like some studios were stifling when I was younger, but I don't care. I love recording. You know?
It could be grungy or it could be professional. It doesn't matter to you, kind of deal.
Well, yeah. I mean, okay. I think it's first. You play to the song. So if it's a song that like jives with everyone in the room doing it live, which usually it is, then do it that way. Otherwise, and then as far as your tones and going for raw or clean or whatever. I think you go according to the song, and that's probably like if there's any one like a rule or whatever, kind of virtue thing.
See, everybody gives me hell about the kind of like his kind of rule is like it kind of like he said like, oh, that was the third take or whatever, or whatever, and it's like. I kind of believe that, kind of like just kind of going at, it's fresh, and kind of it captures that rawness,
Well, it does definitely capture the synergy between musicians, and that's whenever I did, especially demo CDs for bands, that's something that I would try to explain to them was, listen, this isn't your like magnum opus,
right?
Where you're gonna sit down and go like Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, and we're going to do as many overdubs and things like that as possible.
Right.
This is for you to go out and get gigs. This is for you to give people a representative recording of what you are live.
Yeah.
And the idea is to get the best possible representative recording in an enclosed space in an encapsulated amount of time. Mm-hmm. And typically I would give them the concept of, listen, we're going to have about 3 hours of record time after setup. So I would say 6 songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we're going to come back and we're going to play them either 6 songs or 4 songs.
Yeah.
And we'd either play them as 3 sets or 4 sets.
Right.
And you vary them.
Yeah.
You don't come back and play them in the same order.
Yeah, right.
You run them straight through 1 through 4, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do them 4, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're actually getting some different vibe. You're not getting hung up on what you're doing in the process.
Yeah, getting tired.
Yeah, not getting burned out on the fact that I just can't hit that solo.
Right.
It may just be the order of songs that you've been doing it in that didn't let you hit that space.
Yeah. It's funny. Our bass player that's in the Good Neighbors. Or one of the bass players.
I was going to say.
And then, he's probably, I've been playing with him for a long time, Dave Wislowski. We were talking about it, and he's like, man, when you're not dealing with the expense of actual tape, you should just, instead of like every time you do a take and then you have to redo it, just keep the tape rolling so everyone's not like stopping and starting and then sitting there and then hearing the click, and all that stuff.
Right.
It's a lot more like just flowing.
Just have it rolling the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. It stops, it's like, all right, well, let's try that again. And then you all right, ready?
Right.
Set, go.
Yeah. Well, and it's to me
that energy is like stopping and starting. It's like
even with the music that I make electronically and stuff like that. Most of the time, I try to explain to people. I have this huge command station with outboard gear, all kinds of stuff. I use my digital recording system as a huge 4-track. Mm-hmm. Everything that I do is commit to the mix. If there's a reverb that I want on my keyboard, that's what's going on my keyboard track when I record it. I'm not going to come back and find that reverb later.
Right.
I very much do things, and it scares a lot of engineers that I've worked with. It scares a lot of people that I've had mix my music because it doesn't give them a lot of leeway to do what they do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's maintaining that this is what existed in that moment.
Right. No,
and
totally,
what is it to you? Because from what I hear in the music, it seems like you're very dedicated to that. It seems like you're very dedicated to what happens now, as opposed to the precision of the music and the precision of the recording. Why is it that you prefer that? Why is it that you tend that way?
The Stones are a perfect example.
Oh God,
of how you can you can write a song, and then the way to keep a song alive is to allow it to change over time with you, where you don't feel like, okay, I wrote this country song, I need to play it like a straight country as I,
honky tonk women.
Yeah,
prime example. Prime example.
Satisfaction. I mean, you go back to a lot, those real early tracks and the way they did them, like in their prime, and in my opinion, their prime in the 70s. There's a whole different groove going on. And whenever you're out there playing and touring a lot, and like every night, it's like, allowing yourself to go for something different.
You're right.
Like, and it could lead to the song taking on a whole other, groove, or just,
True that.
changing the entire song,
I've got a friend that's really into Stones and said in the 80s that you can go back and watch the footage of their live footage, of concerts, and they will take Satisfaction and another, the big hits and stuff, and it's all sped up. Like they and it's totally like an 80s version of those songs, but it's a different version. He said, it's fucking, it's kind of some or other like that. I think, I mean, it takes a life of its own, and it changes over time, or changes.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Are there, the way they recorded Sticky Fingers is my favorite, man.
Yes, and explain that a little bit, because that's one of my favorite Stone songs ever. I love that track.
That record it's awesome. Everything. Can't You Hear Me Knock is probably my favorite jam on there. But Dead Flowers, like the way they recorded it, was like, meant to be like, I think it was after Keith Richards hung out with Graham Parsons, like they started working. I think that's how it worked. I'm not sure on that, but anyways, it's more of a jangly kind of.
It's one of those cool rumors,
very
cool stories.
Very loose, but still a country groove on the record. But when they started doing it out live, like Charlie Watts' groove would be completely different, and it'd make it more of like a more energetic, just a little funkier.
How are you on like effects? What's your deal on that? Like, what do you like? What don't you like?
Man, for a long time I was like, I'd always point to Angus Young and be like, have you ever seen his blueprint, man? It's guitar, cable, amp.
There you go. Dude, ain't that how I run, Chris? Normally, that's how I normally run.
That was back in the day. I got a bunch of pedals.
Guitar, cable, gain. That's it.
But,
crank the gain, lower the volume.
Dude, that's how I played a lot of my shows, and people are like, dude, I like the way this sounds, like blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I don't have no effects, bro. Like, I mean, I know y'all play, but I just, guitar, cable, amp,
Yeah. But I do, there's some good, there are some, like a lot of 60s sound in the early 70s, the Univibe. And it's all over all the Faces stuff and Hendrix. And
I got to me a Leslie 825.
Oh, man.
Well, I need to get it fixed. I'm going to get it fixed. It did stop one day, and I haven't used it in a while, but
and it's interesting even talking about that, because a lot of your sound is very vintage, very, very classic rock, classic country driven. Even with the vocal effects, things like that. What is your process in the studio whenever you get there? Because everybody's a little bit different. Like some people, like I said, straight live track everything. Some people track things one thing at a time. Are you everybody playing at the same time kind of person?
Usually,
do you do the tracking yourself and go somewhere else to have it mastered, or
no? I'll usually map out like per song, like what I think it should, should it be upright or electric bass? Should this have keys, steel, like how many guitars, all that sort of stuff, harmonies, where, that sort of thing, and then I don't know, again, like playing to the song, like I always try to come in with notes, like, okay, I want these things to happen in this song.
It seems kind of like a live recording, though. It's probably your preference, kind of, right?
It depends, man.
It depends?
Yeah, because there's some, like, I want to have more, get as much of, I think you get as much of it as you can live.
Yeah.
And then, like, okay, where what's missing,
Yeah.
you know, or what needs to be taken out, you know.
True.
You know, what space needs to be added.
Yeah,
or whatever,
punch record a guitar solo,
Yeah.
or things like that.
You know, yeah.
Or a key solo.
Right. And I mean, because a lot of times, you know, you don't need to have, just because you have, like, say you have 3 guitar tracks on a, it's kind of nonsense to have 3 going at the same time, you know.
Yeah. True.
And it could get complicated because one guy screws up, you know, and the
Well,
next time
and-
someone
and-
else does, and
you
then the
know,
next time it's me, you know, and
Well, and
next time it's take 20,
it's
you know.
interesting.
Doug doesn't screw
At
up.
what at what point with your recording process have you ever been a self-recordist? Have you ever been
I
a
do it myself.
self-produced? Yeah, have you ever been self-produced? Where
Yeah, well, I mean, all the blood chili, like Chili Cold Blood and
Yeah.
Moonhangers, it's all like, you know, we all pitch in the ideas for it.
Sure.
And then,
well, I mean, like self-recorded. Like myself, I record everything. I may take it to somebody here and there on occasion,
Yeah.
to have it mixed, mastered,
Yeah,
that
I mean,
kind of stuff. But
I've always
most
leaned-
of the tracking and engineering and recording is done by me.
Oh, yeah, that's
in
not-
my home studio and stuff like
yeah,
that. So
I've always leaned heavily on
Yeah?
people for that. Yeah, I mean, I'm just,
okay.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's just not in my, if I'm not interested, or if, you know, if I'm
It's not for
I can't really take it on,
everybody.
you know?
It's not
Yeah.
for everybody because it's one of those things, you know, I explain in a lot of my Talking Sound podcast where once you get equipment like that, it's a lot like owning a vintage car.
Right. Yeah,
Or
yeah.
like a really nice
You gotta
car.
maintain it,
Either you got to know how to turn the wrench, or you better have a buddy that knows how to turn a wrench.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing with like expensive equipment
Yeah.
in a studio, in a live rig, whatever.
Yeah.
You either
Yeah,
better know every
exactly.
cable patch in there and you created it.
Yeah.
Or you better carry
know
that
somebody.
dude who created it in your back pocket.
Right.
Everywhere that you go.
Yeah.
And that's been my advice for years as a live sound guy. Whenever people have asked me about effects, things like that,
Yeah.
is buy as much off the shelf as you can.
Right.
Boutique is great.
Yeah.
But when it breaks down on the road, when you're out in Las Cruces, New Mexico, are you going to be able to hop into your local music shop and find that boutique delay
Right.
pedal?
No, it's
are
true,
you going to
man.
be able to fit that thing that is key to your sound?
Yeah.
And you know, as a touring musician, as someone who does stuff like that, you know, that's something that you really have to take into account.
Oh, yeah.
And even whenever you record,
Right.
it's something that, like, Rush is a favorite band because anytime I go and see them, they sound pretty damn close to the way they do on the album.
Right.
And they don't play to a lot of stem tracks, you know, and it's interesting. And that's one thing that I love about your music and what I've heard online is that it's very honest, true, and representative of what a live show would be.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
And I absolutely appreciate and love that because
Yeah.
there's nothing like, especially having booked bands in the past, thinking like, oh wow, these guys have a great horn section. No,
Right.
they had a great horn section in the studio
Yeah.
for like 2 or 3 tracks, but
Yeah.
that's not what they are.
Well, this next
And-
record,
But nobody came in from
Yeah.
the rain to hear the jazz go down.
Exactly.
The next,
the next record. Tell
yeah.
us a little bit about that.
yeah, we're going in May, and
Nice.
it's gonna be, you know, again, like kind of a run of a gamut. Like there's gonna be
And that's with whom?
with the Good Neighbors.
Okay.
How many tracks are you going to lay down?
I'm still kind of on the fence. It's gonna be between 6 and 8.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
and it's, you know, there's gonna be some that's country, and you know, I'm hoping to all groove, you know.
And,
Yeah.
and do you do
Twin
some of the
guitars.
songwriting itself, or
Oh, yeah.
a lot of it, or all of it, probably?
Yeah,
I
all
mean,
my songs I
yeah.
sing on the records. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's all.
So
I mean,
all
it's
you-
either I wrote it or I co-wrote it with someone.
Ah,
you know.
okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
co-written a couple things over the years, but yeah, we're gonna kind of mess around a little bit with some tracks and kind of, you know, because
I think when you get loose is when it's at, you know, like,
Yeah.
I mean, you feel
Oh, yeah,
good,
for
you
sure.
feel loose, you know,
Well, yeah, and I
things
mean-
come out, you know.
I think it can be cool, like if you can, you know, find I think like Pink Floyd, you know,
Right.
Sure.
those guys in the studio versus those guys live. I mean, they're not gonna be able to do everything they do in the studio that live, but it's still
Yeah.
a
but
great
that's why
show.
people buy records too.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
gotta have the best of both worlds, where you don't have to necessarily represent yourself live on the record.
100%. No,
Yeah. No, what you want is a representative.
Right.
I mean, there's
Right.
like I had the privilege of working Roger Waters' The Wall when it was here, and it's pretty darn representative.
Yeah.
And they don't actually do a lot of stem tracking, things like that. It's literally a band of like 18 people that are making that happen.
Wow.
It's insane. It's crazy sauce. But that's what it takes to pull off that music live. And a lot of it is sampled from keyboards, stuff like that.
Right.
You know, they have a lot to pre-sampled cues.
But, if you
everything
go like
else.
live at Pompeii, which is my favorite.
Oh, my favorite
right
too.
here.
Woo!
I mean, that's
Got that on DVD.
That's a life changer.
Hope I didn't plug something that I shouldn't have plugged, but
And quite honestly, here's a question for me as an Uber fan, because that's actually a very Gilmour driven album. Yeah. What are your thoughts pre and post Gilmour?
Oh man,
I know. That's like an underneath slider right there.
Yeah.
That's a hard question. That's hard as a musician.
I don't know about all that, post Gilmour, man. I think
Yeah?
pretty critical.
Okay.
Member, but I'm also like,
Well, I mean, post Roger Waters, like
Yeah,
you
right.
know,
Kind of honestly, like I haven't really delved into that, that era.
Okay, yeah.
fully,
really?
Yeah, I'm.
With the Sid Barrett and all that.
Well, no, we're talking about after Roger Waters. After the breakup of the band.
Division Bell. What's it called?
Well, it would be Delicate Sound of Thunder. It would be
I have that on VHS.
Momentary Lapse of Reason.
Right.
But then there's one more.
Division Bell. There would also
There's a couple
be.
more, right?
There would I mean literally there would be after Division Bell, the one that came out like a year ago.
Right.
Or so,
Yeah.
and I absolutely loved
Yeah.
that one.
Cool.
It was great. But,
Right on, man.
Final cut.
and it's no, that was the last Roger Waters album.
That's what I meant. Yeah, the last
But,
Roger Waters.
It's interesting to hear people's perspective on music and how they think about things, because it to me reflects a lot in what people do with their music.
Right.
And like I said, you are a varied artist. You have numerous different styles, numerous different genres that you draw on in your music. Even the reviews that I have of you from rootsmusic.com, Austin American Statesman, things like that, it runs the gamut.
Yeah.
Where do you place yourself? What if you were to give yourself? And I know we described your description of yourself earlier, but if you were to give yourself a general genre, where would you tell people to go find your music? What kind of music would you say that you're making?
Well, I mean, okay. Here's a question for you. Where would you put? I don't mean to.
That's all right. That's okay.
But,
answer it with a question.
Like JJ Kill is one of my.
Okay.
I love that. We can cuss on
Yeah,
that, right?
that's all right. You can.
It's
you can
21
cuss.
and up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. And where do you put him, man?
Yeah.
Where do you put Leon Russell? And or Joe Cocker, like all those styles of music. I mean. It's really hard to pin that down, right?
It is. Because those are people, especially people like Joe Cocker, that literally ran the gamut of what they did. I mean, you're talking about everything from adult contemporary to the beginnings of like beat poetry and music and stuff like that with some of his stuff. It's absolutely phenomenal.
I would think if I was Doug that maybe he gets a lot of like outlaw country kind of genre-ish, like... Yeah, if somebody wants to throw him in a category.
I mean,
some or other,
Yeah, I mean, I've listened, delved in definitely with, Waylon and Willie and everybody, and a lot of different country, Merle Haggard.
Oh,
I really, kind of studied him, like his lyric-wise.
Really?
Yeah, he's interesting, man, because he's one of those few guys that, he did it all. I mean, he could play, anything with strings, fiddle, lead guitar, bass. Like one of his first gigs was on bass. He wrote, he sang, he did it all. Like a lot of guys back then, like they would just sing and they were great. But I mean, he did it all and consistently through the years, and
Yeah.
That's always been like, I'm like, oh yeah, see that's cool, man. You know,
Yeah.
I consider myself a lead. Like I'm a band leader in a sense, but I'm a side man. You know?
Well, no,
Really?
because
playing lead
that's
guitar.
that's
Really?
literally
Right.
one of the descriptions I put down for you tonight was band leader, because it is.
I don't
And-
consider you side at all.
And
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like the comrade mentality. With
yeah.
people, you know, with your whoever you're playing with.
well,
you know?
and it's definitely the fact of a band leader, because your stuff stretches so many genres, just like Merle's did. It wasn't just country,
Right.
And
Just like a
you know,
better word is
like
country, you know?
you've got ballads, you've got swing stuff, you've got stuff that is like hard down and dirty, like Delta blues style action.
Yeah.
And you know, it's interesting to hear this panoply of stuff from somebody who is local to the Austin scene, and stretching out beyond into New
Yeah.
Mexico
Oh,
and
yeah.
everywhere else.
Oh, yeah.
Over the last 17 years.
What's somebody that you're following right now that's you're listening to that you like?
That's
Is there
current?
anybody? Yeah, current.
You know, I'm
Right now that you're into.
Yeah, Sturgill.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my god, I love Sturgill.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a what's this, Tame Impala. Just like they got this one. You know, there's one. The record's pretty cool, but there's one track called Elephant that's just it's awesome, man.
Okay.
It's like
Really?
real dirty.
Okay.
It sounds like the way Floyd's. I can't remember the song, but there was like this. Blondie and Pink Floyd had this real similar shuffle.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Oh, I
And,
kind of sound like that. Yeah.
But who else is there? Kind of, you know, check it out. Kendrick Lamar. My girlfriend has been all about it. You know, Typical
Yeah.
Butterfly. So I've been listening. Hey,
Helps
man,
to have the
I'm
girlfriend
down.
on board. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. I dig hip hop, and I'm also like, I'm always, you know, kind of staying current and then going back and forth, like between the two. You know, a lot of guys around town. I mean, Leo Rondo and Ramsey Midwood.
Ramsey Midwood,
Yeah.
straight up, dude.
Oh, yeah. He's
Quite
nice.
honestly,
Yeah.
when I first moved, I actually have a recording of and Ramsey Midwood. If you're listening, if you know Ramsey Midwood,
I do.
Get him in touch with me, because we talk
Okay.
here and there and stuff.
He's on his Palm Pilot. What are you talking about?
Oh, he'd be.
Blackberry.
Literally,
He might be.
I have a live recording of Ramsey Midwood.
Yeah.
Out at
Sam's.
At Samstown Point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ramsey
And
may
that
be one
was
of the
right.
funniest
He
people
was
I've
one
ever
of the
met.
first people that I met in Austin.
No
and
way.
came out and recorded and ran sound for and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
a- I did
a run with him.
I've got a great Ramsey Midwood live recording.
That's cool.
Yeah.
He asked me to play guitar on a run up to Oklahoma, and it was really cool, man.
Damn,
And
that's
Nice.
dope.
it was fun, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like right when I was first getting the Good Neighbors touring, and so I was, you know, just kind of drilling
Yep.
with questions.
Yeah.
And of course, he was great, man. Everywhere we played, he, you know, introduced me to the owner and be like, you should hire Doug. You know, I mean, like
Yeah.
direct, like, you know,
Yeah.
it's cool. And at one point, outside of all the laughter, because he's one of the funniest cats.
Oh
I've ever
God,
met.
man. He is a riot, bro. Oh my God, he's a
Oh
riot.
yeah. So after, like, you know, we are talking about how he thought he lost his phone and was calling this convenience store, and then
Jeez, he
took
sounds
that
like
as
me.
well. Then he used that. He found the phone, but he still called them, and he used it as a way to like riff with this lady, and kept her on the phone for like 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
That was fun. But after, you know, all the laughs of that, you know, I was like, so, you know, how much you asking for when you're out? Like, how do you afford it? You know, and
Yeah.
blah 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 and blah blah blah. And he's like, Doug, buddy, you're going on a journey.
Welcome to it, and that's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it. Like because there are insider secrets, and like that's one of the reasons why I
There's a learning
started the
curve,
Talking
man.
Sound podcast. Is
Yeah.
because like it's really more about the AV industry and
Right.
the inside
yeah,
secrets
gotcha.
of engineers
this
and
one.
things like that. Not this one, but yeah, like and that's one of the things that I love talking to musicians about on there and on this show is that, you know, there are little tips, there are little secrets, there are little gems that, you know, people don't consider the fact that, hey, yeah, if I go out and play a happy hour for a couple hours once
Yeah.
a week, like I can actually get paid.
Oh, yeah.
And I can do my other music on the side, but this actually helps pay some bills.
Yeah, you got to hustle, man.
And you do have to hustle, and it's a constant hustle in this industry.
You got to be able to play like solo, duo, trio, up to however many pieces.
Up to your whole band,
Yeah.
exactly.
Five
and
piece,
you
maybe
got
6, 7 pieces at one point.
Yeah,
Who
I mean,
knows,
and you got to be able to
Exactly, yeah.
You got to be able to market the whole thing. You got to be able to know like which venues that you step in that you can be like, oh, this is the place that I need to sell this to.
Yeah, and I need to definitely improve on the marketing aspect of things. I mean, it's very costly. PR is expensive.
It's crazy.
But there are guys out there that are really good at it.
It's insane. Ask Julie how much she makes.
$0.00.
She makes a ton.
We're pretty close, baby.
I would work for you for just more.
I'll tell you right now.
He's like, you're hired.
I would work for you for gas money.
I, as the owner of this podcast, make a third of what she makes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's my hammer
Dango
at?
likes to say we're making hundreds of dollars a year,
That's right. But it's like my old upright bassist used to say. It's not the gig you're playing us. It's not the gig you're paying us for. It's the travel here and the hours of practice that it took to get to this point.
Man. Everything involved.
Check this out, Doug.
Yeah.
Townes Van Zandt or Bob Dylan? Which one?
I prefer not to choose.
I mean, it depends on when, too. Dylan, like in the 80s, Dylan in the 70s.
I've heard the the argument, is Townes better, Dylan? I mean, I strictly on the prolific level, I mean, I think Dylan was, his period is magical.
Because a longer period, right?
Yeah, longer, and then his first. Like, he changed everything with 4 years of music.
True that.
Yeah.
Because, the Beatles changed everything.
Yeah.
And the Beatles wouldn't have changed everything had they not checked out Dylan, True. And the rest is history, man,
I choose to think they wouldn't have changed as much had they not checked out Elvis.
Yeah.
Because that's who they first marketed themselves after.
And Buddy Holly.
Okay, here's another one. On the rock and roll side, how about Randy Rhoads, Eddie Van Halen?
Oh, man. I would say, just by my own history, Ed Van Halen,
Yeah.
Eddie Van Halen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now,
okay.
on that note, talking about great songs, talking about great musicians, we need to listen to another track.
We sure do.
By you. And an actual whole track.
Yeah.
Where we don't stop it halfway through. So, which is your choice here? We have Strange Seconds and we have Good Girl.
You want to go up to Strange Seconds is a full album.
Okay.
To pull up a track.
Oh, yeah,
if you just go down here.
Okay, which one you want, buddy?
Let's do the old Driving Rain.
Driving Rain,
Yeah.
okay. Well, we're about to check out Driving Rain off the album...
The Memphis Strange. It's called Strange Seconds. It's our second album.
Okay, Driving Rain, the second track.
Driving rain, flashing floods, from where we stand it don't look good. It's steadily rise, the little time it took. Driving rain, flashing floods. Run your baby hop on a hill, hang a sheet from your windowsill. By the grace of God, we may make the motel, but the will of God, there's no way to tell. Driving rain, flashing floods, where we stand it don't look good. It's steadily rise, little time it took. Driving rain, flashing floods. Well, drive me away, but save my blood. Lord, please spare my little one. I'll turn my life to sticks and mud. Driving rain, flashing floods.
And to those of you that were tuned in live right there, we apologize for any kind of technical difficulties. We actually had to stream that online, so there were some people that got to hear it, some people that didn't get to hear it. Apparently, our app listeners did not. Thank you so much for tuning in and letting us know that. That kind of stuff is hugely important, guys. If you don't have the Dudes and Beer app, please feel free to stop on by the Dudes and Beer website. You can download the app there, dudesandbeer.com. You can also download the app on the Google Play Store as well as iTunes. And right now we are, and you know, I've been thoroughly enjoying the music of. Of our guest Doug Strahan tonight. That one was Doug.
Dude, Doug's music is sick.
Somebody's fighting me over here.
It's me.
Fighting me. Yes, there we go. So yeah, I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed sitting back talking with Doug this evening.
He's got you know, when you get two musicians together, you know, I mean, like we were talking earlier, I thought it was a point that I like is, you know, that's why I remember, because it's the fact that it was a fresh song. You record it like, hey, we've only played it 3 times. Let's do this. Let's record it. Let's see how good it comes out. And you get that rawness, you know. There's a certain thing there because people can tell this isn't very well rehearsed in a way.
Well, I mean, you know, to me, it's really the overproduction of modern day music.
You hear like Janis Joplin in the day, and you hear, you know, artists back in the 60s and shit like that. Well, you know, it kind of resembles that kind of rawness. You know?
And a lot of that actually has to do with the analog recording process. Well, at the time, they didn't have digital. Right. They didn't have the option to do 89 retakes of vocals. They didn't have the option to do overdub after overdub after overdub.
Right.
They had a limited budget. They had a limited number of tracks that they could actually play. And speaking of limited number of tracks, we're actually going to go back and play Dewdrop In, the full track here, because we did cut that off earlier. And then whenever we come back, we will talk with our guest, Doug Strahan, about both of those, the creation of them, the process of writing them, and more. Right after this, bring it on, Julie.
Bring it, Julie.
Bucket lots of dirt and stone. Blood still sticking from the night before. Sitting like the moon, sometimes she needs a little more. That smile spells trouble, and it'll meet me at the door. With the shadows bubbling right up to the ceiling. On and on as you drop in. Say sweet talking to me, don't join Jimmy at the problem with his bones. He spent some time in the pit. He had a tattoo teardrop that got from no man. Said he sure like kicking up the sand. With the shadows bumping right up to the ceiling. On and on as you drop in. Double joint gin, he had a lady named Rose. She had bathing blue eyes, she wore rings on her toes. She saw Sadie dancing Jim around and talking in his ear. She went screaming like a banshee, come away with some hair. With the shadows bumping right up to the ceiling. On and on and drop in.
is an incredible track. I'm so glad that we got to hear that all the way through. Thank you so much to Richard Adams and Amy Jordan, who were there letting us know about the technical difficulty. And Brian as well. That will be absolutely fixed in post for those of you that didn't get to hear Good Girl. But those two tracks are by Chili Cold Blood.
Correct. Good Girl is one of Ethan's songs.
Yeah, and I mean, explain a little bit about the creation of those, what they're about, and what drove y'all to create them.
Well, the Chili is kind of evolved over the years, you know. I mean, we started off with this style of music. It was more like Hound Dog Taylor, R.L. Burnside, you know, Lazy Lester, Lightning Slim, that kind of stuff. And,
sure.
Nice.
And then, you know, but as it went on, like, we kind of started to let our other influences in, you know, like everything from Sabbath to, you know, Sly and Beastie Boys and, I mean, Outkast, you know.
Nice.
I mean, seriously, like, lyric-wise, at least. And then, you know, so it all, like, came up to this point where the last record we put out, Now the Dawn, was, like, you know, intended on being... We're not, you know, we don't consider ourselves a metal band where we're just, like... Wow,
no, but I could definitely hear from what y'all were just playing. There's especially in Maine,
a little bit of thrash in there,
right? It's called Graveyard Blues.
Graveyard, oh yeah,
yeah, and it's like this dark version of blues,
right?
That's in there, and it's very, you know, kind of Reverend Horton Heat meets swing meets blues, and it's very much influenced in there. You know,
That's cool,
you know,
man.
there's some really heavy influence in that with the slide and everything else.
Poker in the rear.
And I mean, we started off playing the Poodle Dog, and we weren't really like a rehearsal band. Our gigs were the rehearsal, you know, and so the simpler the song, the better. And
right.
With the, you know, pulling from mainly like kind of Mississippi styles early on, you know, a lot of songs like John Lee Hooker and Burnside, like, you know, any kind of change like to the 4, you know, like a typical blues change, 12-bar, is implied. It's not necessarily played, you know.
Yeah. And
where it's just like, okay, that's the 4 right there, but it's no one's playing it. You just like
it's just implied.
It's just implied, you know. And so, you know, and they're like Zydeco has this deal like where you hang on the 1 for like 12 minutes. And you can see it in the crowd, like when they're dancing that stuff, that intensity, like the longer you hang there, it just goes up, you know. And
it's like a suspense
I'm
deal.
Cajun root.
Oh, cool.
And very much so. It's very much that there's that one route that keeps going and going and going and keeps things moving the whole time.
Exactly. And that's kind of, you know, how we approached writing early on, and we got complicated, or more complicated. And then with this record, it was back to that, like where there was like, if there were any changes, again, like it'd be maybe a 4, you know. And there were parts, but not like
maybe a 4,
you know, not like crazy, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, I myself
arranged type shit, you know.
I myself as a songwriter have dealt with the fact of writing bridges.
Oh yeah,
writing that turnaround.
Yeah, or
you know,
the sum up or whatever.
Because
you know?
it gets to a point, you know, where you've written enough of verse, chorus, chorus, and you do have to kind of have that change around.
Yeah,
you know, you need something where it's gonna change key for a minute. Things like that.
Perspective or something.
Yeah. You know, when in your career did you get to a point where you realized that you needed that you needed something that changed it up for the audience a little?
Well, I mean, you know, with these songs, like when we're primarily, a lot of them were hanging on a 1, right? You know, and a lot of that was just the recording process. Like we went out there, like it was like we'd show each other the song and then we'd play it. And then we record it, you know. It's like play it once and then start recording, you know.
Nice.
And that concept is very much, I mean, especially with my orientation as an audio engineer, it's very much in the jam band realm, which I find very interesting with your music, that you do, you know, much like Fish or Grateful Dead, like you hang on the 1. You hang on that 1 chord for so long, and
I like a lot of
it's interesting that you incorporate that in this style of music.
Well, Tame Impala is kind of a jam band too.
Right. I like the roots of jam. Like I don't, you know, I like to think that like these bands would jive with jam bands, but I won't ever call us that, you know.
No. Y'all are not a jam band.
Yeah,
no.
Because I mean, the thing is, like with a lot of different
y'all are entirely
genres.
too structured to be a jam.
Yeah, right. And there's, you know, it's like it started off as a concept. You know, it's like, okay, this is a band that extends things, but then it becomes this vernacular, you know, where the jam bands kind of like they start having this certain like vocabulary of their styles and their grooves, and you know, it becomes incestuous. The roots start ripping down the treetop kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I'm not really into that shit, you know, but but I mean the roots, man, like before it had a name, you know, like Allman Brothers, early Fleetwood Mac, love the early like Peter Green era, you know, and the Dead, you know, I dig some Dead, like, you know, I do have some metalhead friends that I'm friends with that were like, yeah, bro, we both fucking dig the Dead.
Yeah.
It's a weird anomaly out there, you know, but
it's a dirty secret, most definitely, with a lot of people, and with a lot of musicians.
I also have like a very, you know, I can't, you know, the bootleg thing, like I did that in college and stuff, but now I got like a very specific, you know, couple of years that I dig it, you know, because I like the tones, and once the guitar tone is like not there with it, I'm like,
have you ever opened up or played with like or know like Shooter Jennings and shit like that?
Yeah, I met Shooter once, you know, and I mean it was just like he's playing downtown, and
it seems like y'all would go good together.
Man, you know, there's so many people out there that I feel like we could jive well with. Chili Cold Blood opened for Tony Joe White once, which is
nice.
Tony Joe is one of my, you know, he's definitely up there for me, you know. And I hung out with his family like the whole time, and they were like, I was like, man, I'm a real big fan, you know. And how are y'all related? And they're like, so, you know, basically they were like, well, how big of a fan are you? You know, they questioned me a little bit, and I was like, well, you know,
exactly.
We talked a little bit, and
it's tough.
Became friends, and that was cool. Like, and checking out his like what kind of wah-wah pedal he was using, and stuff like that. Buddha.
I'm a huge geek like that. I love to see what people are using. What do you use in your rig?
I got
your tone.
Well, I got a Crybaby that I mean, it's kind of a piece of shit wah, but for some reason it fits for me. Like, it's got a 9-volt jack. Like, it's not some cool vintage piece.
Yeah.
But the sweep and we get along well. Like, it's
nice.
If there's ever an extension, like, I can make that thing like sound like Convulsions or like a long sweeping wah, you know. And I've had it since I was 15.
Wow.
You know, so
nice.
And then I got a Phase 90, which is kind of essential for any Wayland kind of stuff, you know.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, I got the Depths, which is a Univibe by Earth Devices.
Yeah.
And
that's a Earthquaker.
Yeah, right.
Earthquaker.
Yeah, TS-808, not a throwback. I got TS-808 throwback.
Oh, nice.
And
the
then
original.
Not the original, but like, you know, like retro, like looking back, you know. And then one of those little EP boosters.
Okay.
And I got other pedals I change out once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, I need to get a good fuzz.
Okay.
And a better
we can
octave.
talk about that.
Yeah, we could. I mean, you know.
But, I mean, it's interesting to hear what people are influenced by, what people are trying to emulate. And with your sound, like I said, it's so varied to actually understand what's happening with it, to understand what you're trying to do is kind of essential. And, well, you know, it's odd to bring a lot of that up with musicians.
Yeah.
And,
No, man, I don't care. I don't know. I mean, I go through like quick phases, like in long phases. You know, I mean, I definitely have bands and artists I've listened to for years, and I continue to, and then I'll go through like these periods where like, okay, man, I want to really dig on this guitar player, you know.
Yeah.
And
what about like Hank the Third? What do you think about him?
Honestly, man, you know, I think he. Truth be told, I think he sounds more like Wayne Hancock than his granddad. You know. But I mean, you know, that's kind of a joke, but he's got this cool, like, you know, a dual thing, and he's doing his own thing. Like, he's not staying in the shadow and like and trying to live off his identity.
Yeah,
right. Legacy.
It's
true.
It's hard to do to actually distinguish yourself amongst that.
Hank Sr. Yeah, even Hank Jr. went through that. Like he had some records that were. Like he was just kind of like, and he wrote about staying in the shadows of of his dad, and
absolutely.
So man, it's like, and you talk about Shooter, like I get like the pressures. It's like they get like a foot in the door, but it comes with a lot of pressure, man.
Same with Roseanne Cash, people like that.
Absolutely, man.
They really have a different realm of proving themselves.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like reading interviews and seeing interviews on these type of people that the same ones we're talking about now, Roseanne and Shooter and maybe even Hank the third, but they want to keep playing a certain style of music, and the industry itself keeps them like from being on the spotlight kind of like, and they're like, no, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep doing this.
It's
well, and you do have to
guerrilla rock and roll, man.
You do have to stay true to yourself. You do have to stay true to your image and your vision.
Yeah, I think Hank 3 doing. I mean, I'm not the guy to ask about him, to be honest.
He definitely is much more in the rockabilly vein, things like that. So
But I mean I like that he's like Chili Cold Blood and Moonhangers. We've always kind of we don't consider alter ego bands because it's not like that. But I get where he's coming from, where he's got he needs two outlets.
Yeah. And speaking of that, we have one more track by you.
Oh yeah,
that you've provided tonight, "Good Girl."
Oh yeah.
Give us a little bit about the creation of "Good Girl" before we go into it. What it's about.
"Good Girl" is that's a Ethan Shaw composition from the Chili Cold Blood record, and it's a romping little number, and I don't know exactly what process Ethan went through writing this. It's a death ballad. I'll tell you that.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like it already.
Well, let's check it out and see what "Good Girl" is all about.
Yeah.
She was a good girl, she killed a bad man, put him 6 feet in the ground, put him 6 feet in the ground. She just trying to keep on living, doing the best that she can.
And that is good, girl.
Yeah, man. We so for years, I just started playing slide with the Good Neighbors, and so this is the first Chili record where we did like dueling, steel versus slide.
Really?
Traditional.
Dude, I love the way that sounded.
Because
it's
fun, man. I'm just like ripping off Ethan's licks.
Well, it's pretty nasty sounding, having the dueling sound going on, having both of them battling each other for space.
Both open tunings. And, like I'm capoed way up on the 10th fret.
Yeah, and I mean, the slide in and of itself is a totally different animal. Not many people really appreciate true. Is he a pedal steel player? Or?
Yeah, I mean, he plays straight steel with the.
Okay.
But he used to play pedal with with Chili.
Even with the straight steel, it's still a phenomenal skill.
Yeah.
It's utterly wrong.
Man, steel in general, but especially like pedal steel. All of it is like you got to be like kind of a laboratory minded musician that just shuts yourself in and obsesses on something, which is totally the way Shaw is.
I mean,
in a good way,
It took me years to understand what a pedal steel player was doing, and the pedals that he has at his feet as well as the ones that he has at his knees and everything else to bend and work the strings and make things happen in certain octaves and stuff like that.
It's like you're talking earlier, I mean, that's something where you need to learn the instrument, like the assemblage, assembly, and then figuring out maintenance and all that stuff. You gotta do your own.
No, like you you got to know everything. Like you got to know everything about that instrument, and you got to know everything about the pedals and how to set it up, how to maintain it, and it's a little bit more difficult than your average guitar rig.
Oh, definitely.
What's your main guitar, Doug?
It's a Les Paul.
Oh, nice.
It's called a faded Les Paul. Yeah, and it's
okay.
It's cool. I mean,
I probably saw it in some of the White Horse footage I saw.
Yeah,
probably.
It's got like a no lacquer on it,
okay.
Real natural.
Yeah.
Barely a finish on it, and it's. I love that gig.
Did you ever get that V you wanted?
Oh, I got the V. I did.
Yeah, I just had to ask. You know?
Well, as we do wrap up this episode, tell everybody where they can go to find the music. Tell everybody where they can go to see you next.
Yeah.
Give us the full plug on all kinds of stuff, Doug.
Yeah, you got it. The Chili Cold Blood, the Chili, it's just Chili Cold Blood. We're going to be playing this Saturday. We're doing a record release at the White Horse that night.
Woo!
And things kick off at 10 o'clock with the Drakes opening, and then we'll take it and do the full record and other tunes, and then earlier that day we're going to be playing since the beer, especially plug it since we're talking beer here, I got some real ales in front of me, man,
That's right.
We're playing the real ale anniversary.
Okay, great.
Blanco, and this will be our 4th year playing. Yeah, we're buds with everybody out there, and
fantastic.
So it's a really cool thing. We play it every year.
That is a great location.
Yeah.
Nice, absolutely. And where can they go to download the music? Where can they go to buy the music?
Chili Cold Blood's record is going to be on CD Baby. Memphis Strange is on Bandcamp at the moment, and Strahan, The Good Neighbors, is all up on Bandcamp. And then I know this is a lot of plug, but
that's all right.
Yeah,
if you do it.
Yeah, my website is DougStrahanMusic.com. They can find hats and records,
all the good Strahan swag, things like that.
Nice songs for you to buy.
Now, when can they look for the latest albums to drop?
The Strange record is out.
It's coming out.
Yeah, and then Chili's is going to be up and
on the 22nd, right?
22nd, yeah.
Okay.
And the Good Neighbors are going in May to record, so we're going to probably have something ready by the fall.
Nice.
All right, fantastic, and we greatly look forward to having you in whenever that comes around.
Yeah, man, this is fun.
Have you back
this
on,
really,
have the guys in, and talk like that, and because this just
we still have a lot of ground to cover here, man.
Oh, absolutely.
So keep the tape rolling.
Well, as we do close out this episode, what is it for you that has kept you making music so long? Like you said, you started about 17 years ago whenever you moved to Austin, stuff like that. What is it that keeps you moving? What is it that keeps you creating and writing new stuff and creating new genres of music? Even?
Oh, shoot. I don't know about that, but I'll take it. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I started, like, writing immediately when my dad first got me playing, as a kid.
Yeah.
And as far as keeping going with it, like,
I got a question for you. When your dad got you going, were you reluctant at all?
No.
Did you were like totally cool with it?
All in, man. Yeah.
You weren't like, oh, this is stupid, or
no. I mean, the Mel Bay book was boring as shit, but it led to, like, he would put a carrot out in front of me. He's like, well, if you spend time on Mel Bay, you can learn some Guns N' Roses,
Yeah.
Like,
okay. You gotta learn the chords first.
Yeah.
And, you definitely gotta have the basis and things like that.
Props to
I think it's, as far as keeping going, I mean, it's definitely, you're not in it for the money. I mean, it's a labor of love thing.
It's got to be love first, for sure.
And that's just it. Like, especially with the Talking Sound podcast over the last couple of years, I've really come to define things, especially as an engineer, as far as artist and musician.
Yeah.
And artists to me are people who create, and they create constantly. They create whether or not they're selling music. Doesn't matter. They're always making stuff. They're always creating new stuff.
Right.
Musicians are the people that are out on the daily. They're plying their trade. They're playing jazz one night, blues another.
Yeah.
To me, you're definitely defined as artist. You definitely make what you make. You make what you make on your terms, and you make the music that you create. And the music that you create is absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
To me, it goes beyond the realm of musician, because you are doing so many different things, and you are out there actively making your way as an artist, and trying to create new and different things within genres.
Thanks, man. I mean, and I think it's just like sowing the oats, man.
I like it.
No, that's a great way to put it.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a great way to put it.
Yeah, and as far as writing goes, like, it's something that it's one thing. Like, your voice is going to change over the years. Your writing perspective is going to change over the years, and as you get older, like every record, I look back and was like, oh yeah, I was going through this and that time, and
it reflects that time frame,
So I mean, I hopefully live to be a ripe old age, and I'm writing about the perspective of an 80-year-old man.
Yeah.
I hope so. That'd be fun as shit.
Dude, that'd be dope as shit. Now have an 80-year-old man playing some dope ass shit.
It's gonna be a different kind of elderly man in the future,
What would... I'm sorry, go ahead, Julie.
I was just linking all of the places where people can purchase or download your music, and I remembered Bandcamp and DougStrahanMusic.com. What was the third one?
CD Baby for the Chili Cold Blood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the rest, like all the other Good Names and Chili records, are all up on iTunes and Amazon, all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know the album that I've been listening to over the last week was Coal Black Dreams, Late Night Schemes. Yeah. That's definitely available on iTunes. It's also available on Amazon. As we part, what would be your one piece of one guiding light piece of advice for an up-and-coming musician? Someone who's just like a year and a half into this, has maybe been in a band or two, and looking to really make a go of things. What would be your one piece of 17-year wisdom that you would give to somebody, Doug Strahan?
Well, I would say, don't skip the 101s, Like, I mean, you got to be able to play a set before you can, book the tour, kind of thing. Like, get your gigs at Beerland on a Tuesday and make $5 total.
Yeah.
And really
get it down.
Yeah. Get it down. Then, like, I mean,
kind of like Granddad would say, like, dig your dick in the dirt first. Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
it is a 21 and up.
But I mean, and then there's a lot to be said about reading your crowd, and like, that's not to say that you need to completely, hand yourself over to them and play fucking Sweet Home Alabama when they ask for it, But you should figure out that space between you where yourself can find enjoyment in the grooves that also, catch their attention because, it's there. It exists,
No, it's
and there's
synergy.
a crowd out there
and
for
it's,
you,
Yeah,
and,
most definitely.
When it comes to, touring, I'd say the number one is, getting there safely, which means, have someone, when you're first starting off, you're not going to have a driver, It's going to be amongst one of you guys, and someone's got to get that van safely there and sober. And
That's right.
There's so many, you got some crazy drunks waltzing across all 4 lanes out there that you got to watch out for and be diligent and get there safe.
Yeah. Yeah, that would probably be my biggest piece of advice for people hitting the road. Is make sure you got somebody that has your back, has your six, and is looking out for gear at the end of the night. You gotta be careful out there.
Oh yeah.
And making sure that everything that came in is going out.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
You gotta do double checks. And everybody's gotta do their own
idiot check. Idiot check.
Now, Chris. I'm just saying, but a little wild card. But I did see Doug walk in with the guitar.
Oh,
I did as well.
Yeah,
and
that is true.
That would be all up to Doug, but I did see him walk in with the guitar.
I like where you're going with this, Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, these strings are all dusty from New Mexico, but
that's all right.
Hey, dusty strings sound great.
In the studio.
Yeah. Before we go out, if we could get one live one from you, Doug, that'd be great.
No pressure, though.
Yeah.
This one is going to be on the next Good Neighbors record.
All right.
And a little background, I, being of our generation, you hear a lot of stories about the glory days of music.
Yeah.
And how it's kind of passed, and as a band out there, you got to
I think of the false.
Yeah,
glory days.
Well, you gotta have faith in what you're doing out there. Because it's if you don't have it, no one else is gonna have it for you.
That's
it. Good advice. Good
this
advice.
This is kind of about. It's just sometimes it's crazy out there.
Yeah.
It's called Lamppost. Sometimes I feel like a train with no rails to ride, a boxcar caught in the weeds, a ghost out of time, a troubadour lost in the woods, cobbling mad rhymes, singing from the treetops to the crowd in his mind. Sometimes I'm cloudy, sometimes I'm blue, sometimes I'm stormy, and then the sun shines through. Some days the sky's falling, easy as the dew. Sometimes it meets you halfway, and it breaks you in two. I'm just pissing on a lamppost, paper and pen. I'm dancing down an empty street with a bottle of gin. Join in and it could be as sweet as it was back then, as it was back then, as it was back then. He said the heyday died the day that I was born. He looks back with gold in his eyes on the days of lore. He said, oh man, you just missed the big parade. Hotels and a whiskey, a sexy promenade. I'm just pissing on a lamppost, paper and pen. I'm running down a Holy Ghost, the one that I believe in. I'm dancing down an empty street with a bottle of gin. Joining and it could be as sweet as it was back then. As it was back then. As it was back then.
Fantastic.
Oh my
Doug Strahan, everybody. Doug Strahan. One more time, the name of that song
fucking serious?
and the album that it's coming off of.
Lamppost, and I'm not sure of the title yet, but it's
Okay.
going to be Strahan.
Damn, if I wasn't a groupie, I am now.
Fantastic. That's it. That's it.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Steve.
And, you know, one last time before we close out, where can people check you out? Where can people see the next Doug Strahan show?
Strahan and the Good Neighbors will be at the Blackheart, actually, this the 21st.
Sweet.
on
I
Friday.
played there a while back. Well,
Yeah,
it's been
there
a
you
long
go.
while back, but yeah.
Good spot. And then touring info, you know, we got a Facebook page and then DougStrahanmusic.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
thank you, Chris.
for coming in
Yes.
this evening. Thank you so much for coming
God
to be a
damn,
part of
Doug.
it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
awesome.
We'd love to have you on again, as I
Yeah.
said, whenever the album launches, stuff like
yeah,
that.
let's
I'd
do
love
Back
to,
any goddamn time you want.
love to have you guys on Talking Sound, all that kind of
yeah.
stuff. Come
Yeah.
in, talk about the creation of the album, the recording, the studio process.
That sounds like fun.
Everything else. And on that note, everybody, as you're on the internet checking out the music of Doug Strahan,
All good things
please,
come
please,
to a
please
goddamn end.
make
know.
sure to go on by dudesandbeer.com. Make sure to head on by the apps store on iTunes, on the Google Play Store to check out our app. Until next time, everybody, thank you so much. And until next time, if you can't be good, be good
Thanks for
at it.
listening to this episode of the Dudes and Beer Podcast. To listen to our audio streams and chat with us live, download the official Dudes and Beer app for both Android and iDevices, available on the Google Play and iTunes markets. For more episodes, content, and information, visit us online at dudesandbeer.com. You can also find our episodes on Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast service. Dudes and Beer is a proud member of the Revolution Digital Group family of podcasts. Thanks for listening, everybody, and until next time, drink responsibly.